Whanare, g'day. Welcome to my home. There's something on my heart that's urgent. It's about the safety of all people on heritage work. So I just want to talk about a safety, a cultural safety heritage protocol when it's doing surveys. I guess it should start back in the beginning when native title first started. Well, the old people were worried because they saw all these women, not indigenous women, archaeologists and anthropologists coming to work with us in the field. So they were worried. Then they looked at it and they said, oh well, we got our law, they got theirs. And we might be able to marry some of them ladies. Some did. But in over 20 odd years now, looking back and studying alongside the anthropologists, we all study different things. In this case, over 20 odd years now, I've been studying a lot of things. The main one is our cultural heritage. So going in line with what the old people come up with, and in the field I'll be asking the archaeologists and anthropologists, male and female, how you going, how's your family? All reports are always good. So something happened. So in the beginning we did surveys, archaeological surveys and ethnographic surveys, and a lot of it was just initiated men or lawmen, traditional owners that had been through law. So on these archaeological surveys, let's start with archaeological. On these archaeological surveys, as I just stated, it's just initiated men only as traditional owners. But if we look at the company heritage team, in the beginning they sent a lot of non-indigenous people out. Sometimes I had indigenous people, male and female, but a lot of the times when I was in the field and confronted with this issue, well, this non-indigenous person can walk in the field with us, handle artefacts. But if you're indigenous and you haven't been through law, well, you can't walk with us, you can't handle artefacts. And so you got to stay with the vehicle and make sure we're safe in that manner. You can do everything else, but walk with us in the field and don't handle the artefacts in the field or in the workshop. So we had some women, especially in our area, may she rest in peace now, I won't mention her name, but she worked with us for a number of years, and the way we allowed her to do her job on archaeological surveys and ethnographic or anthropological surveys, we'll get to that one later. And the way we did that, as I touched on, that she would stay with the vehicle. She wasn't allowed to handle artefacts in the field or in the workshop. She could do every other thing that the job entails except those restrictions that I mentioned. So 2018 comes along and Innawanga has a PDC now, and one of our mob makes himself head of Heritage, GM, General Manager of Heritage, and he changed the law in the way we did business with Rio, well not just Rio, all mining companies that we're dealing with. And he allowed our women to do the archaeological surveys. When this happened, we started losing family members. When I became aware of it, I was on a survey that was an ethno and arc survey together. So this is how they were trying to work it. And I said, driving in to do the job, I passed this old fellow at the airport, Para Airport. He was going home and I went, hey, we got to do a survey. Anyway, when I walked into the Innawanga office, there was all these women. And they were all part of the Rangers team. Anyway, they've come and doing the survey. And said it to the archaeologists, anthropologists, well, when we get in this is how we're going to do it. When we get in the field there, us men will walk it and the women can do the ethno part of it. If we find anything that's safe to show the women in grindstones, then we'll show them. He gets on the phone to the GM. And this GM, one of our mob, no, you're walking. You're all walking. I said, no. We argued. I thought, okay, well, I'll wait till we get in the field. And then I'll try that again. I'll tell them in the field. This is how we're doing it. So I did. And we got in the field. So the archaeologists or anthropologists that I know more as got it on the phone again. And me and this fellow had a good relationship we built over the years. And I said, look, I'm the older here and this is how we're doing it. But he gets on the phone to GM and the GM says, no, you're all walking. So I said, take me home. So I went home. And within that week, we lose a family member to one of the ladies that did the walking. So I start writing to Rio Heritage and Innawanga CEO. You can't do this. We're breaking our law, this is what's happening, we're losing family. And this GM, one of our mob, think like a Wajbala. He hasn't got a Marlborough mind, otherwise he'd understand. So he keeps it going and I keep writing to Rio Heritage and Innawanga CEO. There's a pattern there. 1 year of hell for me. Death in the Innawanga people, in our families, one after the other. Every time they put women on an archaeological survey. The pattern's there. I challenge Rio, or before you want to engage in our women on archaeological survey, you need to look at, get someone in, an anthropologist in this case, I would say, to study, because of stories. And the dates are there on who was on the surveys, and the dates are there on who we lost. So This is my study. So, in this, I learned that there is a covering, a spiritual covering over the non-Indigenous women, specifically, and the Indigenous, or non-Indigenous male. And that is Judeo-Christianity, for sure. Because their ancestors did covenants with the Creator. And when they sent these ships out, they never sent them without the church. The church was always there. The power was in the church, not in the state and the weapons that they had. I can give you examples of that. And I think I'll give you this example while I'm on this subject. Man, there's Papua New Guinea, he's half caste, white father, Papua New Guinean mum, full blood. He said, well, you're right what you're saying, because what happened on our island? When the first ship come in, the chief in the village said, let him come. And they went in and they killed him and ate him. Another ship comes up and they just singing and praising the Creator. Well, the chief drops dead in the village. So this allowed them to go into the village and that village then converted and started to take the light or the way of truth and life into the mainland, Papua New Guinea. So this is an example of the spiritual covering that they have. My own experience, we dealing in this country, the ones that are upholding this law are these little Maliners, little 6 fingers, 6 toes, hairy fellas. We call them Malanga. Lungas call them Wuraji. They got different names. Maybe the Irish would call them leprechauns. The English would call them trolls, fairies. So these spirits, they're part of the fallen angels because I read the good book, The Way of Truth and Life, the light. And in the good book, I can identify them as the fallen angels because Lucifer, when he was cast out of heaven, Lucifer, Hallel, in Hebrew, was cast out of heaven. He took 1/3 of heaven with him here on earth. So these are the beings that when my old people come into this land, they had to do covenants. Some covenants would be Moran. You want a Moran? I'll look after you, I'll give you Moran. Spiritual power was a Moran. This person becomes a clever man or in the European witches and warlocks. So these are the watchers and upholders. We break the law, in this case putting our women and looking at artifacts, walking the country and looking for artifacts. We lose our family members. I know one in West End area, there's a handprint. And I know one lady went in there, and that lady went off, lost her mind for a while. these little fellows, they used to take our women away and mate with them. If they sent them back, I did see one old lady come back when I was a young fellow in Whitnam, and she wasn't there. These are very real beings, they're spiritual beings, they're the fallen angels. There's no mysticism in this. The Word, the good book, the Bible, the Word of the way of truth and life. It's all there. My own experience with this covering. I'm getting grabbed. So we say getting grabbed. So in the sensation of getting grabbed by these little fellows, they paralyze me. So sometimes in my experience, there'd be a ringing in my ear, this thing coming. And then when I'm going to sleep, and when I'm asleep, I'm in a state of awakeness in this dream. And I'm getting fearful. And he'll paralyze me. And I can't move, and I'll even think more fear, what's going on? And he'll keep going. Not a good feeling. But if you call out the name of Jesus or Yeshua, Yeshua is his original name. Jesus is the one we know through the English, bringing the word of truth and life, the way of truth and life. They both work. My experience, Yeshua seems to be more power, but they both work. So in my study, alongside these archaeologists and anthropologists out in the field, this is my conclusion. So the way you can deal with it yourself, because I understand through the people out in the workforce, out on the mines, all across the board they're starting to experience these feelings. And since I've been talking about it, that they seem to label it now sleep paralysis. So this sleep paralysis is what we as Marlborough Indigenous people know it as getting grabbed. So in the field, when we're doing stuff, I'll always make it my point to ask in the morning anyone at a visitor or got grabbed, because this will identify the area and where these beings are. Some areas you can't mine, because these spiritual beings are there. That's their home. And if we destroy it, they retaliate. They take people's lives. Or they visit people in the night. If you ever see them in the day, you'll send you off. You lose your mind. So that's archaeology. Archaeological survey. Anthropological survey. Well, traditional owners, first up, traditional owner male, being through law, he can do it as long with a traditional owner woman can do it. In regard to the company and their heritage team, all Indigenous, male and female, and non-Indigenous, male and female can do it. But there's a process in to do it safely. The process is, because of the talking surveyor, which is the anthropological survey or ethnographic survey. It's a talking one. So there's no need to go into the site. The site's been found, the artefacts have been found there. There's a report. So all the anthropologist on the job needs to do is read out the report, take us to the site area. No need to go in it. You go in it, then there's trouble. And I know recently things have happened that I will write about. I've spoken to the anthropologist about. And I started to write it and send it to Inalonga CEO and Rio. So anyway, no need to go in. Just read the report, have the conversation. You know where the site is, you know what's in there now. Make your decision, move on. Should their need require to check, then the traditional owner, lawman, he can go and have a look. The non-Indigenous male or female can go in and check. They don't need to bring it back to show the mob on the survey. But if there's a grindstone there and that belongs and is deemed safe by the Indigenous lawman, he can bring that and show everybody, male and female, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, and the traditional owner women. So the process is the key, and restrictions. So handling of grindstones that are safe, deemed safe, everybody can handle, male and female, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, traditional owners. It was a family thing. So, in concluding that, again I just emphasise, no need to go into the site. The report's there, read the report. Have the discussion, move on. Archaeological survey, just touch back on that. Traditional owners, it's just male lawmen only, initiated men participate. Company, all can participate on it, with restrictions to the Indigenous, male and female. The Indigenous male that hasn't been through law, initiation, and the Indigenous female, they can't handle artefacts, either in the field or back in the workshop. They can't walk with us in the field, but they can guarantee our safety by staying in the vehicle or with the vehicle. Where the non-Indigenous male and female can walk with us along with the Indigenous lawman from somewhere else. We can walk with us. So these are cultural heritage protocols, safety protocols that I've developed through my experience and my study. You know, I consider myself a professor in my own right. We can have these doctorates in archaeology, anthropology, but they can't grasp the spiritual That's why I say all these years of study in the field, knowing my law and culture, knowing my country, experiencing it, I'm a professor. So I just want to keep us all safe. It's my duty when you're in my country to do that, and this is the way I'll do it. But the boards, anyone on the board needs to adopt this policy. Rio always pushing the blame. Well, that's your business. No, it's our business. We all people, you're in my country. I'm the professor. I'm the chief. I say that because my old people told me. I'm the chief of the Inawanga Banyaman Guruma. Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. I only say what my old people told me. So thank you for listening. Stay safe. May the Mangan our Creator bless you and keep you. May he shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. May he shine his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Catch up. Reel it up.